This is your anonymous space to unpack everything that's on your mind, from tricky team dynamics to startup stress or nightmare managers. No names, no judgment, just real talk.
I'm particularly excited today because I feel like today's episode is a bit juicier than normal.
It is.
So today we're bringing you career advice about the hotly debated topic of office romances. Should you follow your heart or should you keep it strictly professional? And we'll also be chatting about how to deal with when you're in full competition mode with a colleague who's basically your work nemesis, which I'm an A-type. I'm super competitive. I've been in this situation. But first, what happens when you land your dream job but then realize it's not quite the fantasy you imagined?
So we actually got this question emailed to us and they asked to remain anonymous. They said, I'm feeling really threatened by a colleague at work who has been in the business longer than I have, but the two of us are on similar-ish levels. I hate feeling this insecure, especially as I know he does not mean any ill will and probably has no idea I feel this way. Everyone in the industry knows who he is, but I'm newer to it and still finding my feet. What advice do you have? So I have a confession because I fear I have been this colleague before. There's been
Really?
Yeah, I feel like in my job, I've been here for a really, really long time. And media moves so fast. And especially when I was in my early career, like when I was about 22, 23, I really honed in on this is my job. I'm the best at it. Everyone else can fuck off. And I feel like that was kind of admitted to anyone new who joined the business. And it was pretty obvious. So the thing that kind of worked for me was firstly someone just telling me to like get over yourself. Like I had my mum.
Oh, wait, you were the threatening colleague.
I was the threatening colleague.
You were the one who felt
Yeah.
threatened.
I was this guy. And I think I was aware of it, which makes it even worse. I don't know if this guy's aware of it, but I definitely was. My mum told me to get over myself and to loosen up, and that the reason that my company was hiring more people was to actually help me with my job. And for this anonymous person, I would say just befriend them. Unless they're like me, who's actually aware of what they're doing, which I don't think they are, I would say just take them out for lunch, have a coffee with them, like get to know them, ask how you can help with their workload and vice versa. And I think they will slowly realize that, oh, you're actually here to help me. It's not like a competition kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's so interesting that you were the colleague who was threatening, not threatened.
And I was so small and young, so it was like a jump scare for everyone.
But I feel like this dynamic would be so common because there are definitely people who might be both at the same level technically, but where one has sort of a bigger profile and then the other one is a little bit of a more quiet achiever. And that's not to detract from either of them. Like we're all just different personalities. But I think if this particular anonymous question submitter is feeling threatened, I would, especially if it's not the actual person isn't meaning to threaten you, I would always look at why do you feel like that way? What is the cause of that? Is it and as she's mentioned, or he or she has mentioned, it's out of insecurity. It's out of feeling like you don't belong. So I agree. I think, as you mentioned, the best advice is to make an ally out of them, befriend them. If you've noticed that they've got a bigger profile and everyone knows who they are, emulate what they do to what they did to get there. Like hang around them, kind of take notes on what it helped them achieve the level of notoriety that they have and you don't. Because I think they are, if they're what you want to be, then they're the best person to learn from. And especially if he doesn't mean any ill will, then he probably wants you to befriend him and kind of can take on a little bit of a mentor role so that you, and the more that you work on that profile and work on that area where you feel insecure, the less you'll feel insecure. I always think, where are my self-doubts coming from, or where's my imposter syndrome coming from?
Yeah.
And then how can I work on it? And the more you work on it, the more it falls away.
Yeah, that's such good advice. Also, I would say that when you join a new workplace, everything always is amplified in your head because you're already so nervous. You already feel like you have to prove your worth. So it might not be coming across to the same way that you think it is coming across. I don't want to diminish this anonymous person's feelings, but I would say that when I start a new job and a lot of my friends, when they start a new job, everything is always multiplied by 10 because you're in such a different environment and you're trying to like find your footing. So I would say just give yourself a break.
And it's also really interesting that they mentioned that he probably has no idea that they feel this way. And so this would definitely be, you have to make a judgment call based on the particular person. But I'm a big fan of just getting things out in the open. Like I think I've said this in a couple of other episodes. If you're nervous before a speaking gig, say it. If you're nervous in an interview, say it. Like the more that you can get those feelings out in the open, I feel like that sort of helps do the opposite of amplify them. It almost makes them smaller. Once you've said it out loud, you might just say to him, oh my gosh, I feel like everyone knows you. I just feel so insecure sometimes because I'm a bit newer. Like, how did you get to where you got to? That kind of takes the sting out of it, and maybe he can talk you through it.
It will also make him feel really good. He would love that.
Yeah, he would love it. But he could also have the opportunity then to turn around and say, I felt like that at the beginning and this is what I did.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Okay. Our next question, I feel like so many people will have experience with this. It's all about regret. And we got this through our Instagram DMs from Kate. Also, if you want to submit any questions, there's a whole bunch of links in our show notes. You can email them to us or you can DM us on Instagram. You can also be completely anonymous if you want to. But Kate put her name on this one. And she says, I'm 3 weeks into what I thought was my dream job and I'm having serious buyer's remorse. The work is mind-numbingly boring and the people feel really off. I left a comfortable role where I was well liked because I needed a challenge and was getting too cozy, but now I'm wondering if I made a huge mistake. I miss the safety of my old workplace so much and know they take me back in a heartbeat, but I also left for good reasons. How long should I give it before admitting I've made a mistake? Is 3 weeks too early to judge, or should I trust my gut instincts? Oh, this one hurts.
And it's such a tough situation. I truly think that no matter the environment, I mean, with a couple of exceptions, that 3 weeks is probably too early to judge an entire workplace and an entire job opportunity, because you have to account for the fact that you have left somewhere that was really comfortable. You have left somewhere where you know the ropes and you felt really good and you know the dynamic. So anywhere new, especially somewhere that's challenging you, is meant to feel uncomfortable. Like most worthy, great new things you do feel a bit shitty at the start, and that's kind of the growth phase. Yeah. So I also wouldn't recommend you stay somewhere that's, damaging to you either, but I do think that 3 weeks is a very tumultuous time for any new opportunity. So perhaps give yourself a little bit of time to adjust to the newness and give everyone else a little bit of time to adjust to the newness. That's not necessarily the best time to judge a new role, I think. I think it's still very early days and things can change pretty rapidly when you get into a groove.
That's so true.
I wouldn't want you to look back and miss out on something that could be amazing because you made the call too early.
Yeah, 100%. I also feel like it's such a myth that the higher you go, the easier your job becomes or the more you love it. I feel like I know so many.
I think it's the opposite.
It's the opposite, right? I know so many people who turn down promotions because they just love their job so much and they see their job as just a job that they're comfortable in, not a career, which is so fine. You don't have to constantly follow a career if you just want to do a job that you love and you're comfortable in and you enjoy it. And the other thing to that is like you will always have to do work that you don't love. So you've only been there for 3 weeks, exactly what Sarah said. How can you make it more enjoyable? Like find out the pockets that you're not quite enjoying. How can you make it more enjoyable? How can you like build up office morale? Can you like work in, is there a culture team that you can take part in to vibe with the people more? I would also say I have a friend who has a very similar story where she was at a workplace that she absolutely loved and adored and she wanted more of a challenge. So she moved to a completely different company, hated it there. So she started talking to people in a previous company saying, is there a way I can come back? They formed a role for her. It was very similar to her old role and she decided to come back. And then she regretted not speaking to her manager at her new company first because it was only after she put in all these placements did the manager at her new company say, we're willing to change, we're willing to give you a better role, we're willing to like work on this, but it was too late. So I would say before you make any drastic moves, speak to your manager, your current manager first, because is there a way that they can help you sort out this new position where it works for you? Because the last thing you want is to then move back and then that role be given to someone else and then you regret it again. And you can't just keep bouncing back and forth as much as I feel like you'd want to.
And I think also the way that Kate expressed that what she misses about the old workplace is the safety. It's like, well, if that's the part that you're missing, then you're not going to get safety in a new workplace straight away. If that's the main reason for the discomfort, then I definitely think it's too early, because safety is what builds over time. You're not meant to feel that in a new job. Whereas if the part that you hate is in the new job is like a toxic workplace environment or bullying or something, like I think you really need to write down what exactly it is that is giving you buyer's remorse, because the time that you wait for it to fade will be different. I think you can be super, super patient with growing a comfort or a feeling of safety, but you shouldn't be patient with your job being nothing like the job you applied for. Like there's different time frames of waiting that allow yourself. But I definitely think if you have the chance to speak to someone about it, the sooner you do that, the better, because they might not have realized you're not having a good time. There might be a lot they can do before you make the drastic jump of going backwards. And the other thing is, it's interesting that if you left your old job for a reason, Kate said she left for good reasons, even if you don't like the job you're in, maybe the right choice isn't to go back to the old one. Maybe it's to go to a different new one, if that makes sense. Like, I think don't just look at it as either here or there.
That's
it could
so
be
true.
Maybe this job isn't right for you, but maybe you look for something else. Like, there's a lot more than just go back to where you were before that was more comfortable.
100%. Oh, that's such a good point. Or even like, is there another department in your current company that you can move to? And also like jumping back and forth, I feel like that's where you get into the idea that your work becomes your home, and it's not. It's still a workplace. Like you never know. You could go back to your old workplace and they could completely restructure or change things around and become different. Like workplaces are constantly changing and evolving, and you like it now in your head of like the exact place it is right now, and that could change in like a few weeks.
100%. And a really, really like left of field thought that I just had, because this situation came up for me recently, not with workplaces, but look at everything else in your life right now as well. Is this 3 weeks that you've been having a really unhappy time at the new job? Have you had anything else going on in your life that's made you crave security? Have you had other big changes? Are you going through relationship issues? Do you have your periods? Like what else is happening in your life that could be rubbing off on the way you feel about your job? Because everything in your life is interrelated. So I think 3 weeks is too early to judge, because it could be not the job's fault. It might be, but it might not be. I think it is just too early. So maybe give yourself a deadline. Like, I will wait another X amount of weeks before I judge it again. Just like you would like dating. You don't kind of go on one. I mean, no, that's a bad example, because sometimes there are really big red flags. But like, I just think give it a little bit more time.
Yeah. Oh, the period point is so true. I'm a completely different person in my luteal phase.
Right? Like if I was in my luteal phase, I'd walk away from everything. Like I'm bawling my eyes out. Nothing is making me happy, So
that's so funny.
It's not the job's fault.
Okay, so we got this very juicy DM from Ella, and I think this is probably one of my favorite questions we've ever gotten in this podcast.
Same.
It's so juicy. So she says, I'm about to do, she hasn't even done it yet. She's about to. I'm about to do something potentially very stupid, and I need you to either talk me out of it or give me the green light. There's this incredibly attractive colleague who I've been having serious sexual tension with for months. We've been staying back late, working together, having long lunches, and the flirting has reached dangerous levels. We're in different departments.
Guys, I'm a little bit turned on.
I'm a bit turned on. This is like the start of every like smutty novel I've ever read.
I know. I'm like, keep going.
We're in different departments, so no direct conflict of interest, but everyone would definitely notice if we got together. What if it doesn't work out and things get awkward? But also, what if I let fear stop me from something that could be amazing? Has anyone successfully navigated an office romance without it becoming a complete disaster? I need to know if I should go for it or keep things strictly professional. Oh,
this is too much responsibility for us to answer.
I'm scared.
So this is a really, really hard one because There is so much at stake, and there is a lot to be said for, not letting sometimes your personal desires undermine your professional reputation. And particularly as a woman, I think there are much bigger consequences for women in the workplace in this situation than there often are for male colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I came from an industry where all lawyers meet each other in the workplace because they don't see anyone else, and because so often nobody else understands the life that you're living and the hours that you're working. And so there are so many successful relationships and marriages and long-lasting marriages because you've met through a context where your interests and life is similar. So on the one hand, it's like possibly the best breeding ground for you to meet someone like-minded. On the other hand, if it doesn't work out, it could absolutely be a disaster because it's inescapable to avoid a colleague versus avoiding some random in society. So that's a really, really hard one. And I think the first thing is decide whether there's a difference between I'm attracted to this colleague because I just want to sleep with them, or I'm attracted to them because I think there's a really meaningful connection, because the risk analysis is very different if you just think they're hot and like you think you might have a one-night stand versus I think could turn into something. Like that's the first decision, I think.
Oh, it's so true. This is really, really hard. And I'm the worst person to give advice to because I love flirting so much. So there's something in me that's like, yeah, just go for it. It'll be so fun. It'll be great. And then tell us about it.
And I'm like, that's irresponsible for advice.
I have dated, not colleagues, because I work in a workplace that are all women. And I think that's very beneficial to me because I could go quite crazy if I had to work with men. But I have dated a few people who have worked in the same industry. And Sarah, you would know this. Media is a very close industry. Like everyone knows everyone. And I don't regret either of my relationships I had with these men. But I will say that I see them a lot. Like I see them a lot. I've seen them with their new partners. I've seen them when they're single and you think you could probably go there again. It's just, it does become a very awkward kind of environment that you have to navigate. Also, they dated like other people in the industry that I also know. Like it can get quite messy and you do have to be very professional about it and you have to think about it in a way that that doesn't naturally come to you. Like I feel like with these situations, if it doesn't work out, if you're dating someone like randomly, like from a dating app who like you'll never see again, you give yourself permission to act hurt and you give yourself permission to say things that you wouldn't normally say to a colleague. And when it comes into the workplace, you just can't do things like that. I will say that if you, exactly what you said, Sarah, like figure out what kind of dynamic it is, because I have heard so many successful stories of people ending up with their colleagues or people meeting someone at work and getting married and having kids and having a beautiful life. And there's a lot of amazing stories, even in this workplace at Mamma Mia, which I think also can kind of push my limit a little bit. But I will say that figure out what kind of dynamic it is, because when you're dating a colleague, you can't just casually date them. You can't date how you would normally date. You can't have situationships. You can't flirt because you will get hurt. You have to know straight away, and I've had this advice from other people who've ended up in relationships with their colleagues, you have to both be on the same page at all times. You have to both be, okay, we're doing this, we're in a relationship, or we're not doing this, we're just going to be friends. You can't do the in-between because that's where it gets really messy, because you will be seeing this person every day. Even if you don't date, but you continue flirting, imagine if they start dating someone else and someone else in the workplace. You have to see that every single day. And it is so heartbreaking and so hurtful. And the other thing I will say is, I'm not really sure what kind of job you have, but I want you to consider, is this a career or is it just a job? If it's just a job, you can have more fun with that. You can probably risk it a bit. But if it's your career where you see yourself in this workplace for a really long time, where you see yourself working up the ladder or laterally and you want to like explore this new job of yours, that can also be a huge risk to your career because you will act differently. And I know it's so hard. It's so easy to say, just go for it, because I know you want to go for it so badly. And if I were you, I'd 100% go for it. But I'm trying to be responsible and say that if this is a really important career to you and if you don't think it's worth it, then I would just say be friends. Like it's so hard and it's so shitty, but I would honestly just try to put it in the back pocket and just be friends.
I also think if you've already been staying back late and working together and having long lunches, like all of those things are in a work context. And the fact that you describe the flirting as dangerous, like it sounds like there's a bit of an element of the fact that it's forbidden.
Yeah.
I wonder if it wasn't forbidden anymore and it was out in the open, like would it even be interesting to you anymore? Like is the attraction the fact that it is kind of dangerous and naughty? And if it is, then, you know, if you go for it, you could ruin that altogether.
Yeah.
So I think you've really got to sit down and have a think about, is this a sexual thing or is this a really emotional, deep thing? If it's a really emotional, deep thing, it's obviously worth taking more risk than it is for just a sexual fling. Then you have to think, yeah, what am I risking? And I think the best way to also look at things is what's the worst case scenario? How badly could it go? And assume that it could happen and then think about whether you could cope with that or not. If you couldn't, it's not worth it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I feel mean. I feel like a boring old nana. Like this is so not something I would do.
I mean, the question, has anyone successfully navigated an office romance? I think absolutely they have.
Yeah, they have, for sure.
It is possible to do. And I think if you, maybe the first step would be don't stay back late working together. Maybe take it out of the work context altogether. Why don't you like have a coffee on a weekend or do something that's not related to your workplace whatsoever and just see, like if there's a real spark, I think you know, right?
Yeah.
You know if there's something that's irrepressible, then maybe that will help you work out, like, I think we could get married one day. Like, not that you're going to know instantly, but if there's that little something,
100%.
then maybe it is worth it. But you have to work that out first because you don't want to risk everything off just we worked late together and wanted to have sex with each other.
That's
like
so
that
true.
Could be really
That's
fleeting,
so true.
You know, and my other big thing is a quote that I come back to all the time. Again, this is so bad because I would obviously go for it. But if I was giving smarter advice to someone else, my advice would always be don't make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings. Oof. So if you think
write that down, Ella,
even a small chance of being temporary, don't make a permanent decision that could ruin everything for you. But if there is a chance that it could be more, you know, permanent, then give it a little bit of breathing space, but outside the workplace and see.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's not permanent because I was just rereading the question and Ella did say everyone would definitely notice if we got together, which makes me think that you don't want them to notice. Like you want this to be kind of like a secretive thing, which is also risky. I feel like all the successful office relationships I've witnessed, they were immediately together and they immediately let HR know and they immediately told everyone just to get it over and done with. It's like secretive ones that I feel like you could be in dangerous waters because you don't know what's going to happen. So good luck. I mean, I really hope you take this advice, but also if you don't, that's none of our business.
And have fun, gal.
Have fun.
Like, you know, YOLO.
Enjoy yourself. Do
really
what you want.
One.
God forbid a girl has hobbies.
God forbid a girl enjoy her life, you know.
But that's all we have for Biz Inbox this week. If you have a work question, please send it our way. If you have a workplace drama, a career conundrum, or office politics nightmares, we are here for it all. There will be a link in our show notes for where you can submit your questions. You can leave your name on them or you can be completely anonymous if you don't want anyone to find out it's you. It's completely your choice.
And don't miss us this Tuesday for a brand new series of Biz, now with a brand new host. We're kicking things off by tackling the workaholic trap. You know the one, way too easy to fall into, way harder to climb out of. I pretty much live down there, so I can't wait to hear it. And if you missed any of our previous episodes, they're all right there in your feed waiting for you. We'll be back solving more workplace conundrums next week. Bye.
See ya.